Hi, everyone. This is Peter Hoffman from Dallas, Texas. And I'm recording this early in the morning. We have some important information happening. Obviously, it happens on a daily basis. But we're seeing our ex-president being placed on trial that's really not at all conducive to democracy. And Alan Dershowitz was on television this morning talking about the Hamas influence and all these demonstrations going on where they're yelling for the guillotine and for the killing of people. And he made a point that in the 70s, a lot of those terrorist type demonstrations ended up birthing real terrorists. And he was saying that Hamas has inroads in America now, and a lot of these people will be contacted by Hamas for terrorist acts. They're just breeding a whole group of people willing to commit serious crimes. And this is happening in campuses all over the country. And my main focus here, and you know it, is the supernatural and what God has warned us about with the sign of Revelation 12, where we saw an incredible series of events, both in the heavens and here on earth. We saw the generational periods all link up to 2017 and September 23rd. We saw the Jubilee, and the day before, we saw the New Year. We saw 5777. And then at the time of the actual sign of Revelation 12, which God calls the great sign, by the way, why would he call it a great sign if it wasn't something for a warning like the Bethlehem star was? It was a wake-up call for the whole world to know that the Messiah was being born. Well, this is a wake-up call telling people that the Messiah is returning. And yet, just as in the case of the Magi, very few people. I only know of one other person, frankly, that is talking about September 23rd as being very, very important. And we're talking about the whole world. He's down in Australia or Tasmania. So this is something that we need to wake up about. And I don't know if you heard, 2 days ago, a guy walked up to a pastor with a gun in church while the service was going on, aimed it at him and fired, but it misfired. It jammed. And luckily, there was a usher right nearby that jumped on him and took the weapon away with the help of the pastor. And the guy said, "A voice told me to do this." Well, this is the whole point. Satan has been cast down from heaven. Revelation 12 talks about two signs, the sign of the woman and the sign of Satan being cast down from heaven. And that sign, obviously, we cannot see, but we can feel and we can witness it here on earth. That's why it's called a sign. We're seeing irrational behavior. We're seeing things that make no sense at all in politics, just in our daily lives, in the way things are happening. We're being warned with extreme weather. We're being warned with all the political events, just the legal events, but also the worldwide events against Israel. More than half of the church believes that Israel does not have a covenant anymore with God, but it does. And they should be totally backing off of that theory of theirs, because the formation of the nation of Israel in 1947-48 is extremely important and significant. And by the way, 70 years later is when the sign of Revelation 12 happened. 70 is a very important number. So is 7 and 77 and 777. And all of these sevens are showing up, popping up in our history right now in this period of time. This year is 7 years after the sign of Revelation 12. And we are now in the year 5834. And so, I'm sorry, we're in 5784. 5784. And 8 is it's a number that has two meanings. One is of new beginnings, 8 and 80. And then 8 also stands for pay, which is speaking. And we're seeing this coming from both sides. We're hearing the voice of God, but we're also hearing the voice of lawlessness. It's speaking out everywhere with Hamas, especially with Putin, and with the threats coming out of China. So God is speaking too. God's voice is being heard. God is speaking through believers and through his nation. They're not obedient to him. But also there are a lot of people within the church that are not obedient to him. So God is speaking out. He wants everyone to share the truth, to know the truth, and to believe in him and trust in him. This is a very critical time. 2024 is extremely critical. As I said, it's 7 years after the sign of Revelation 12. God uses the number 7 for future events. He puts a stamp on future events with the number 7. There's 7 years in the tribulation. There are going to be 7 churches. Well, there are 7 churches as related in the book of Revelation. 7 lampstands, 7 angels, 7 seals, 7 trumpets, 7 bowls. And you see the 777 show up in key points in the Bible. For instance, when Joshua defeated Jericho, do you remember that? That was the first battle, big battle in the Promised Land. And God told him to march around the city for 7 days. And on the 7th day, to march 7 times. And then to blow the trumpet 7 times by 7 priests. Now, do you think that is just a coincidence? No. God is blowing the trumpet. By the way, Revelation 12 on September 23rd happened right after the Feast of Trumpets into the 10 days of awe. Do you think that's a coincidence? I don't think so. And by the way, October 7th is no coincidence. What happened to Israel is a huge beacon of warning. It's like like a lighthouse saying, hey, your ship is about to wreck on the shores. So you better wake up, people. Steer the boat away. Find a safe shore. We are in a situation now where we have to look to God, to pray hard, to check our hearts out, to make sure that we have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, because he is coming back. I know this because I was saved in a dramatic way. I actually went to hell and was raised from the dead, in a sense, by God, because I was alone. And the person that found me said, I thought you were dead, so I went to call the police because you were white as a ghost. And soon after that, I was given a vision of a scroll flying in the air. That scroll had Hebrew letters throughout the entire scroll, and it was multicolored in the sense that there was yellow, red, and blue, the complementary colors. And I thought, well, am I dreaming? And so God showed me by separating the flying scroll into 3 separate scrolls, each with the complementary colors, so that I would know that I was not dreaming, that I was conscious of what was going on. And I didn't know what it meant until now, until what happened on September 23rd, because a year before that, as I was teaching at our ministry, Answers on the Rock, God gave me the answer to what Revelation 12 said. In that first book, everything came true. Now there's another book out called Cosmic Crossroad Countdown, The Invisible War, and the Final Chapter. That is the final book in the series of 3, but it summarizes the other 2, and it looks to this year and next year. We have to wake up. I believe everything in that book is coming to pass exactly as God gave it to me. So when that vision of that scroll, I believe, was God saying that I'm gonna give you some information that you need to write down, because people are not seeing with eyes that see and hearing with ears that hear. We need to be conscious of the fact that there is a supernatural battle going on right now. Satan's been cast down to earth with all of his demons. The only thing holding him back is the church. He wants to kill, steal, and destroy. And he will if the church has to act and not be a cruise ship that's about to sink. We have to read the Word of God, see the beacon light, the warning light, and make the right decisions and act upon them. And we need to pray. Thank you, and God bless.